Hello and welcome to Up The Duff's Outside CTFC. After that fantastic game against Manchester City in the FA Cup and the 2-0 win over Oldham in midweek, we're looking forward to Derby Day as Cheltenham travel to Forest Green on Saturday. We also have guest Jake Alberice who will join in on the discussion. So today on Up The Duff,
We'll cast our minds back to October.
we have a chat with a random person I know from uni.
I'll ask lots of questions that they won't know the answer to,
I'll talk about our lovely new third shirt.
and I talk about the little club on the hill.
Yes, it's going to be an interesting one. Hopefully, we'll be on a high from the superb City game and the solid Oldham game Tuesday.
Anyway, casting our minds back to October.
Obviously, we came out 2-1 winners in what was a fantastic game for us, but it seemed to have mirrored when they beat us to get into the automatic promotion spots a couple seasons back, where the winner of the derby has just fallen off and the loser's gone on to do a bit better. I feel like this is a chance to show off Duff's big game brain and prove how we play against the good footballing sides, like against City. And FGR, yes, are a good footballing side.
Yeah, I totally agree. They're up there with the best in the league, unfortunately.
It's very annoying.
Oh, it really is.
But, they've done it with a lot of money and we've done it with a very shoestring budget.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm also very nervous.
Same. I don't think you can put it any other way, can you? I felt exactly the same way about the match in October as well. Yeah, just hoping it goes well.
Yeah. See, similar to Tuesday, my heart says one thing, my brain says the other. My heart says we're going to beat them, nice, easy, 2-0, 3-0. My brain is saying, Ben, it's going to be 1-1.
Yeah, 1-1 was definitely the prediction I was going to make.
Yeah.
It just seems fair, as it were. Obviously, hope we can snatch a victory, but as long as we don't go behind, I think it'll be all right.
See, I've had a look back at Forest Green's last 5 games, and they've had 2 1-1 draws. They were against Port Vale and Oldham, who we've just beaten. They've only got 1 win, which came against Leyton Orient, 1-0, and they've lost 3-2 to Tranmere, also losing 2-1 to Crawley, which gives them a 1-3-2 record. Now, ours is a bit better. We've won 2, drawn 2, and lost 1. We know our results. We're not going to bring them up because there's painful memories from 2 of them. But it's weird how similar our standings are at the moment. Obviously, they're 1 point ahead of us. They've won 11, drawn 9, lost 5. We've won 11, drawn 7, lost 6. And our goal differences are very interesting. We've scored more than them by 2. We're on 34. We've both conceded 23 goals.
Yeah, it is very interesting, and it certainly all adds up to the spectacle as well. It's going to be a very even game based on all of those parameters.
It kind of reminds me of the National League, where it was a literally winner-takes-all situation. Now, we got 2 draws from that, and we ended up with the league title.
Yeah, exactly. I think the biggest worry for us is that despite Forest Green's shortcoming against some of the last 5 opponents they've had, Mark Cooper always seems to be able to rile that team up enough to play Cheltenham. Yeah. They always put in a good performance against us, even if they lose like they did last time. So
yeah, that's very true. Jake, have you got anything to weigh in on in this Derby Day fixture?
Well, I know you hadn't beat him in what was it, 22 years before early in the season? Even though you spent most of that time above them in the football pyramid.
We did the double over Leeds. They don't mention that, or they were languishing about in non-league.
So they seem to always mention that, don't they? And was it you went 2-0 up early in the season? They got back, ended up winning 2-1.
They did get 1 back. We still won it.
But I mean, you have kind of, your form's dipped a bit since then. Now you played brilliantly against Man City, you won the last game. But before that, you hadn't won in a while, had you? What, 6-7 games?
Yeah, we did. After that Exeter game, we did drop off a bit.
The game I saw at Portsmouth, you were good, but then against the League One side, what do you expect?
That's very true. Now, if we put this into your perspective, Jake, as a Villa fan, I'm not sure you can really compare these derbies, because Villa against Blues, there's always one team outright on top, and that is Villa. Cheltenham against Forest Green always means something. The past 5 years, there was the league title at stake, and then both teams needed points to stay up, or the others both needed points to get into the playoff spots. And I feel like this is, in terms of footballing world, even if it's not the most known, it's one of the most important in terms of a league title.
Yeah, I mean, you were first and second the year Cheltenham got promoted from the National League, weren't you?
Yeah.
So I think you both, so close to each other, so close to each other in terms of geography, and then I think it's just stemmed from the rivalry itself has kind of grown in recent years, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you've gone from not really playing each other over 20 years to playing each other regularly for the last 5.
Yeah, I think that kind of comes through never having a proper derby since Gloucester are now National League South. Neither of us have a close team.
So you've kind of just used each other as kind of a natural rival, and that's kind of sprung up over the last 5 years, hasn't it?
Yeah, which is understandable. I mean, yes, they have more wins. We have more league titles, so who's laughing there? Shall we move on?
Yeah, sure.
Right, I want to touch quickly on the transfer window. Now, it has been a quiet one. I know we've missed out on 1 or 2 who opted for League One clubs and one who we lost out on as they got injured. As a fan, it is frustrating to see, but I'm sure the club has its reasons. I'm just going to read quickly from an interview Duff did with John Palmer after the Oldham game, where he's compared it to when we got Charlie Raglan and Alfie May, where we've managed to get fringe players on a permanent deal or the loan to permanent. But it's not really happening at the moment because those clubs aren't letting them out now because they want to stockpile players in case they get an outbreak, in case they need to cover. And you can't go and watch under 23s games, so they are less willing to get under 23s players in because they just can't see what they play like.
I mean, with the Villa game against Liverpool, that was kind of a rare chance of teams lower down the leagues being able to see exactly what they can do. I mean, you've seen Seb Revan go to Weymouth. Maybe Cheltenham could be looking at some of those Villa players who did really well in difficult circumstances against Liverpool.
Yeah, I did see someone made their debut for Walsall a week or 2 ago, which is our league. Now, if we were to get Louis Barry on loan, I'd go absolutely mental.
Incredible.
That would be an unbelievable signing. I'm not sure that's going to happen. One I have seen, which would probably be my perfect signing, is that Omar Bogle is out of favour at Charlton. We can swoop in for a loan deal for a striker who's proven it at this level before. That could be quite exciting.
Yeah, that would be perfect for us. Definitely what we were missing until last night. It's only promising to see Andy Williams getting a goal again, and Alfie Mays struck a really nice vein of form. We still need the striker to come in. Nice bit of competition. But while it is incredibly frustrating, I'd rather see a considered approach than the kind of scattergun one we've seen sometimes in the past. And especially at a time like this, the club does need to operate within its means. I can't remember if it was Andy Wilcox or Michael Duff, but they said the Man City tie really did secure the club's security, and we don't want to destabilise that by bringing in the wrong personnel.
Yeah, we've seen some shockers before. Liam McAlendon on a 2-year deal seemed like a bit of a panic buy. That was just not... That was the season I think we got Dooku and Kalala, so our striking options were not the best. And we all know how that's ended up. I think Duff's got a very good record with signings where they've pretty much all slotted in nicely and done very well.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. We've had maybe a few minor missteps under Michael Duff, players like Tom Nichols, even though somehow he's having an amazing season with Crawley.
It's a weird one.
He just couldn't find the goal last season. Yeah, sometimes you see players like that and you worry when you see them come off the bench because you just wonder where the goal's going to come from. Like it won't come from up front.
Yeah, that's very true. I noticed for Andy Williams' goal, it was an absolute banger. Will Boyle got the assist by lumping it up the pitch. Now, I feel like we scored our 2 most difficult chances on Tuesday, which was very interesting. Now, what I feel we need is another Alfie May who came in January and tore the league apart. It's not going to be easy to get another player who goes like that, I don't think.
Well, yeah, of course. Like, why would you turn that down? It's, it's your Alfie Mays, it's Dan Harmon as well. He came in January, but he was very much proven at the National League level when he came in. It's not like we have the opportunity to sign the league's top scorer just in January every season.
Would be helpful, but unfortunately not really possible for us.
Yeah, certainly not in League Two.
See, Jake, well, you'll be thinking about the Samson deal, I assume, to Villa, who's come in for about 15 million. We don't really have that money to spend. We don't really have the option of buying people, so we do heavily rely on freebies or like tens of thousands. How do you feel that impacts our transfers, different to how Villa may be going about it this month?
Well, you're going to have to be more clever with it. Your record transfer fee, 50,000 on one player?
Yeah.
So you're gonna
yeah,
have
it
to look
was.
for loans from clubs up the league. You're gonna have to, like you said, Duff as well at picking up players from say League One who isn't getting an opportunity at clubs, and then coaching them to really good players for League Two level.
Yeah.
So you just have to be a bit more careful in the transfer market, don't you? Because a slip up for Cheltenham is going to, in transfer market, it's going to be a lot more deadly than a slip up for Villa.
Yeah, it's like Villa spending 20 million on Vesley didn't quite work out. If we spent more than, I'd say, 100,000 on a player and he flopped, we wouldn't recover from that in that sense. That would absolutely cripple us for the season, I reckon. But I don't see this club spending that sort of money on a player at the moment.
So the FA Cup money would have helped, but that kind of just offsets the loss you made from the coronavirus with fans not being in the stadium, doesn't it, really?
The lack of fans really would mess us up. And I think we must have made a decent amount from prize money and sponsorship money in the TV, but it is just going in to offset the lost money.
Yeah, I think I saw someone on Twitter, maybe like Mark Halliwell or something, say that we've accumulated about 250k in prize money, which is fantastic, but it pales in comparison to the £1 million loss that Andy Wilcox says that we've made this year as well. So swings and roundabouts.
You just think if we hadn't sold Broom for about 150,000 and we hadn't gone on this cup run, obviously no one could have foreseen that we'd go and play City in the 4th round. But it is quite worrying seeing a club worrying about their future and worrying about money. And I know Villa very, very close to going bankrupt at one point after losing the playoff final to Fulham. How did you feel then, and how would you feel if you were to see your club not quite make it through just because of this virus?
Oh, it's awful. So you've seen it a little bit before the virus, but you saw it buried, didn't you? And then Bolton were very close.
Macclesfield as well. They went out last season.
So I've seen that the Premier League and the FA are looking to help the clubs out. I saw that earlier today. I think it's 30 million for League One, League Two clubs. So that obviously helps. But say just having week to week revenue with gate receipts and fans being in the stadium, just not the same as that, is it?
Yeah, so it's very, very
just
true.
one payment. You don't really know how that's going to help in the long term.
And we don't know what strings the Premier League have attached to it either.
Yeah, exactly.
So the point of this part is to get an outside perspective of Cheltenham Town. Now, we went to the Papa John's game against Portsmouth. What did you think about Cheltenham from that match?
Oh, I love the grind, first of all. It's just football at its core, isn't it? It's old fashioned. Got a bit of culture about it, bit of meaning. You see grinds nowadays just sold as bowls in a sense. MK Dons, 30,000 seat stadium, can't fit it most weeks. Well, can't fit it at all, can they?
No.
So first of all, love the stadium atmosphere. You can't really sense that because we had 500 there. You can't, which I find weird. You couldn't really sing, could you? All you could do was clap.
Yeah.
But say Cheltenham on the pitch, I enjoyed the fact that despite making so many changes in it, and it being a lesser competition, Papa John's Trophy compared to the league, you still trying to play the right way, still trying to play it from the back, using triangles. So you did get caught out a few times with it, but that's to be expected. It's not your first choice team.
Yeah.
So the fact that Duff set them out in every game, no matter what the team is, to play the same way, bodes really well for the future for you.
Following on, now at the start of the year, we interviewed Pete Haynes together and spoke about the development of the youth, which we saw firsthand with Felix Miles making his debut. Do you see our club as one that promotes these young players?
I mean, yeah, you've only got to look at George Lloyd, haven't you? Made over 40 appearances at the last 2 seasons. Exeter are the team to look at in League Two in terms of promoting youth. You've seen Ben Christen go to Villa recently, Ampadu,
Ollie Watkins as well.
Ollie Watkins went to Brentford now and doing well in the Premier League. But I think Cheltenham getting there. You've seen Felix Miles make his debut. Tom Chamberlain's come through and played a few games in the Cup. So I think in Pete Haynes you got someone that's gonna look to coach the players well. Michael Duff's gonna look to give the young players an opportunity, so that can only be good for the future.
Yeah, I feel like with where we are, we're competing with Bristol City, Aston Villa, and even in some cases Southampton for the players a bit towards the south of Gloucestershire. So it's not an easy job that they're doing, but clearly they're doing a decent job of it. So what do you think of our season so far? It's a tough act to follow from the last year we had, but I think we're doing good.
Yeah, I mean, you started brilliant, didn't you? I mean, top 2 in October, November. Obviously, you've fallen off a bit recently, but I think that FA Cup game could just revitalise your season.
Yeah.
live on BBC, saw how much it meant to the players in the celebration after the goal. Me and Ben Tozer, what performance from him. That goal on clearance, incredible.
That was mental.
Insane. I don't know how he did it. Like if I was to do that, instant concussion. So
if I did that, I'd probably jump and head the crossbar. I honestly don't know how he managed it, but it was very impressive for a man who was at Newcastle when Alan Shearer was the manager. Weirdly, Alan Shearer didn't mention his managerial career during the game. I don't really understand why. Speaking of Newcastle, Villa just beat them very easily. So we're going to touch on your club, and we've had 3 loanees from Villa in recent years. That's Issa Suleiman, Kelsey Mooney, and Jake Doyle-Hayes. What are Villa's thoughts on those players who haven't quite made it?
I mean, Jake Doyle-Hayes was the one, maybe if we hadn't gone up the season we did, he would have got a chance in the Championship, but I think it's more the sign of Villa's progression as a club recently rather than the players themselves. I know Doyle-Hayes is doing really well with St Mirren in the Scottish Prem at the moment, isn't he was really good for you last season, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was very good.
Issa Suleiman's a weird one because he captained in England under 19s when they won the European Championship. Villa were kind of expecting him to grow from that. It just didn't work out for him. He's now in Portugal with Vitoria. How was he when he was at Cheltenham?
Do you want to answer this, Harry?
Yeah, sure. He was all right. It was a while ago now, so I'm trying to drop my memory back, but
I think he played more at left back than centre back for us, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
He's always been seen as a good ball playing centre back. So I feel like that's why he's doing so well in Portugal. They made 8 appearances in the Portuguese first division this season.
At the time, we were definitely not a ball playing side.
No. No, he was. You could tell he was a young player who was just finding the ropes in the men's game. Didn't help as well that sometimes Gary Johnson would play him in bizarre positions. Remember once, I think it was against Exeter at home. He came on as a winger or something.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd forgotten about that.
Like, it's no wonder that players struggle when they're played that just wildly out of position.
Yeah, especially for young players as well. Like as a young player, you need to be played in your correct position and played for a run of games to really improve.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was Johnson saying it about this specific time, but I remember someone saying that young players have to be able to play in multiple positions. I'm not quite sure that applies to a centre back going out on the wing though.
Yeah, it reminds me of when Steve Bruce used to throw Chris Samber on up front if Villa were behind 5 minutes with 5 minutes to go.
Well, that's managers playing people out of position is just an interesting thing to do. So we're going to move on. Now, your brother, I've heard, is doing a career mode at Cheltenham. So I'm sure you've looked in at this club and gone, hey, that looks pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, the trajectory over recent seasons has been insane. You went from relegation battle really to promotion in the space of the season. I mean, if you carry that on, promotion this season, is it a realistic aim for you?
It's expected, I think, after last season. Harry, if you want to touch on this.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that Cheltenham fans have raised their expectations accordingly. We're all a lot more expectant of the best now. I think just promotion in general is expected, but if we can do it, then winning the league is actually a priority. Never thought I'd be saying that,
We've gone from, oh God, I hope we avoid the worst, to I can't believe we're not in the automatic spaces. I'm not sure how that's happened. Testament to Mike Duff. That is a mental change.
No, the League Two table's absolutely mad this season, isn't it? 11 points between 1st and 13th, I think I saw before it came on.
So, ridiculous.
So a couple wins, you could be top of the league. A couple losses, you could be 8th, 9th.
Yeah, Duff said last night that we hadn't won and other games have been played. We could have been like 10th.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. But hey ho, we won. And we've already touched on the next question, which I spoke to about earlier, where we compared it to Villa against Blues. So we are going to move on, Harry. It's that time again. We've taken it on, but it is time for today's guest to enter the hot seat.
All of our guests will go through this rite of passage, as it were. They'll all be given 2 minutes to answer as many Cheltenham Town questions as they can, under the toughest conditions, of course. In episode 3, which you can listen to on Spotify and YouTube, I scored 3 points and Ben scored 2, but we only had 90 seconds each.
Yep, that is correct, Jake. You have 2 minutes. I will get the timer ready. And Harry, we need to remember to keep track of the ones he gets right because we forgot for both of ours. So I'm just going to tick as I go along.
If I get 1 minute, I'll be delighted. I'm
One would
not
be good.
expecting anything at all.
What's your name? What's your age? What's your occupation?
Jake Alberice, 18, and I'm a sports journalism student.
Lovely stuff. Harry, would you like to start with the first question?
What was the peak audience for the City game?
Pretty sure he's just in 6 million. I'll take a guess at 5.8.
Yes.
He's got it right. Congratulations. How many points did Cheltenham get in the 2015-16 season?
101.
How many points did Cheltenham have top spot?
What was that, sorry?
How many points did Cheltenham have top spot in the table?
3 points.
2.
Who was our shirt sponsor in the 1977/78 season?
I want to know that. Pass.
It was National Express.
How many league goals does Alfie May have?
7.
Wrong, 5.
Who scored the equaliser against Forest Green in December 2018?
2018. Ben Tozer.
It was Conor Thomas.
How many years had Cheltenham consecutively finished ahead of Forest Green?
21.
Wrong, 35.
What was our possession when we lost 3-0 to Barrow?
51%.
62.
Who scored Cheltenham's first goal against Oldham?
Oh, I looked at this beforehand. Williams.
Correct. Who was born on the 29th of October 1993?
1993. Alfie May.
It's Conor Thomas. What colour was our 07-08 away kit?
37. Blue.
Correct. Which current player was released at 16 but returned over 15 years later?
Then Andy Williams.
Correct. Oh my god. Which player has a 100% record for penalties, not including shootouts?
Alfie May.
It's Conor Thomas. Who is the only person to play in England's top 8 leagues?
Michael Duff.
Correct. You have wiped the floor with us. We're out of time. I've counted 7 correct answers. That's me and Harry put together plus 2.
Yeah.
Fair play, Jake. Congratulations.
Research work.
It did. You are at the top of the league for Conor Thomastermind.
Yeah. Most of them are just educated guesses.
Don't blame me.
Moving on.
Yeah, I think that's for the best. Lots happened this past week, Ben.
Ooh.
Since episode 4, which, again, you can find on YouTube and Spotify, Cheltenham have played 2 games, including a fantastic performance against Man City. And what a match that was. I don't think I've ever celebrated a goal harder, well, from my own home at least.
I wholeheartedly agree. It was a fantastic performance. I have to say it was certainly a unique celebration at my end, involving my phone getting up close and personal with my wall.
I thought a number of players put in their best performance in a Cheltenham shirt. Notably, Josh Griffiths, who kept City out for 80 minutes, Lewis Freestone, who pocketed Riyad Mahrez, and of course, our man of the match, Ben Tozer.
I thought that was Griffith's best game in a Cheltenham shirt. The same can be said for many others too. I went absolutely mental when Alfie May smashed home that long throw, because how else were we going to score? And even though it cost me my phone, it's one of the greatest games of my life. And Ben Tozer, of course, the standout player. That clearance, how on earth he's done that, I'll never know. But before we move into Jake's opinions on the game, got a public service announcement from the Greater Manchester Police. If anyone has seen Riyad Mahrez, please let them know. Pep wants him back. He was last seen in Lewis Freestone's back pocket and has since gone unnoticed. Okay, Jake, what did you think of the City game?
I thought you were brilliant. Say, to be 1-0 up against the current Premier League leaders for 80 minutes, incredible, really. The defensive organisation, 2 banks of 4, making it difficult for City to break you down, moving across with each other. So, say, it's obviously hard to tell watching on TV, but the communication was there. Like you said, Josh Griffiths having been beaten by the opposition keeper in the previous game, was incredible. Made some great saves.
Yeah.
Alfie May clinical when he got the chance. The long throw City wouldn't have been as prepared for. I know Pep Guardiola said something about it pre-match, but I mean they wouldn't have faced it in the Premier League. Obviously caught them off guard, and Alfie May is a great finish.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think City have Rory Delap's son. They could have just asked his dad if he could come into training and help.
I was thinking that, yeah.
It was a fantastic game, and I really hope we're on a high from that going into Saturday, on a high from the Oldham game where we finished a game out for the first time in a while. And I'm really kind of looking forward to beating Forest Green, although if we don't, you won't hear from me for a couple of weeks.
That's the thing though, isn't it? Like, City's second team is still probably a top 6 team.
Yeah.
So for us to go toe-to-toe with them like that, it's unacceptable for us to play any worse. You know, we have to step up for the big matches like Forest Green, because we know what we're capable of.
Especially in the past, where those games we just disappear.
Yeah,
and the Johnson
exactly.
Especially, the one where they beat us 1-0 and we just didn't really do anything, and then Nigel and Odelusi had to separate themselves from Johnson. Someone almost got in a fight. That's when Harry Pell left, apparently. He was like, nah, I'm not doing this anymore. And now look at us. We are better than Colchester. We are better than Exeter, where Nigel went. We're just doing good, and hopefully we can carry that on and have that big game brain and go on and just wipe the floor with them.
Exactly. We have to take that momentum forward with us. If we can get a win over Forest Green, I think that's the best signal of our intentions as far as the second half of the season is concerned.
Will be fantastic. Now, onto the football shirt.
Yeah, it's a very special tribute from the club. You know, obviously, me and you, we both donated our season tickets instead of having them refunded. The motivation wasn't even really driven by having a shirt with my name on it, but it doesn't matter anyway. But I don't mind the look of the shirt. It's hardly a classic, but I think the sentiment will live on a lot longer than the design of the shirt itself, and I will definitely be getting one, even if it is just to look at my own name. It's a bit vain, but whatever.
Fair enough.
But the only thing that really surprised me about the shirt is just how much it resembled a similar shirt released by Bristol City, especially as their shirts are made by Hummel, and it's not just some sort of area template. How do you feel about it, Ben?
I'm divided on it. Now, in the past, we've worn a few third shirts, and as you'd see if you followed me on Twitter, I mentioned the two from 2012 and 2013, which we had to use due to kit clashes against West Ham, Scunthorpe and Gillingham. They were quite plain, obviously one-off, so I don't think the club even released on sale. It was just a plain white one and a plain blue one. Now, more recently, we had the Blue for Crew shirt, which was okay. It was just Bath City's away shirt with a balloon and the badge on, and the Holly Gazzard shirt, which was beautiful. So it's a very tough act to follow, and I do like it, but nothing can top Holly Gazzard's shirt. We just look into our past, as we did in the past. Our current home shirt took the pinstripes from our shirts in the years between 1963 and 1968. It harks back to our shirts from 1938 to 1956. We dropped the red hoops and just had plain white with red sleeves. That was before adopting the red stripes. And the white torso and red sleeves show off our history, and I love that. It's also kind of similar to the 83-84 shirt, but that was mostly white with red trim. Yes, it's similar to Bristol's, but I've seen that pointed out a few times. And looking at Area's templates this season, I feel like that was always a possibility, where it would always be the sleeves one colour and the shirt the next, and we just both happen to wear red and white. Yeah, Jake, what do you think of our shirt?
I think the sentiment behind it's class. Like, to give something back, like they didn't really have to do that, did they? Like you said, the fans didn't refund their season tickets to help the club financially. I think, and it's something to remember it by. Like, you two obviously gonna have the shirt to look at. You can keep it as a reminder of, say, as what you've done to help the club, really. So
yeah,
you think it's a really great gesture from them.
So yeah, think about what we've done to help the club. Now, if we were standing at the Speedy Skip stand where we do, you look across a pitch and there's a very big scoreboard. And I don't know if you know this, Jake, but we paid for that by raising about £60,000 to £70,000 for the club a few years ago. So not only do I have my name on a wall I now have it on a shirt. Unfortunately, I'm not able to buy that ball. I am able to buy the shirt, so I did immediately fork out the 30 quid, which I thought was quite nice that they've lowered it by about £10 to buy.
Yeah.
Just a nice thing to do. Thank you, Jake, for joining us. I'll see you when we're allowed to see you. Hope to see you at Wadham Road soon enough.
Yeah, I'll
Maybe
definitely
that won't
look to
happen.
get down there when I can.
Maybe we'll be playing Birmingham in League One next year and you can come watch us.
Let's hope.
Harry, thank you for coming again. Now, next up on Up The Duff, we have former Cheltenham Town Ladies development manager Cam Cheel, who I used to work with, where we will be discussing the women's side of the club and Cheltenham's best ever goalkeepers. And our question of the day, why are you a Cheltenham fan?
Thank you all for listening. Until next time.
Goodbye.